With Timmons here to celebrate Timmons Group Parks Week like we do every year. I'm here today with Forrest, Rike, and Sam Halish in our land development group. They are going to talk about Pouncey Tract Pickleball Court with me. It's a really unique project in Henrico County Parks and Rec. We've been working on it for quite some time, and we're really excited to feature it because pickleball is all the rage right now, as everybody knows, and it is a really cool opportunity for us to invigorate our communities with action sports and good community. So thank you guys for joining me. I'm really excited to be here with you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, so I'm going to do a quick introduction. Again, I'm Lillian. I'm the marketing communications manager here at Timmons Group. My role involves everything from external communications to internal sometimes. And I have the absolute pleasure of doing live discussions like this. One of my favorite times of year to do it is for Timmons Group Parks Week, and it's a campaign that we do every year, like I said. But it really, so many parts of our firm actually work in Parks and Rec, even though they're not, landscape architects necessarily or Parks and Rec aficionados. We really do celebrate Parks and Rec throughout the company. So I think it's fantastic. And this is a way for us to showcase all of the different parts of the firm that work in Parks and Rec. So Forrest, I'm going to introduce you really quick. Forrest works in our education department for the land development division at Timmons Group. He sits in Richmond. Again, making a nod to not everybody that works in Parks and Rec has a Parks and Rec background. Forrest has a lot of experience working particularly with schools. So it's really cool to have him here today, kind of a different civil engineering background and expertise. He's been with us since 2022 and just celebrated his 1-year anniversary. Congratulations, Forrest. And you have a BS in civil engineering from Virginia Tech. Yeah, okay. And we have another tech grad with us, actually. Sam Halish is joining us from our landscape architecture group. Sam is a landscape planner. Is that right? Landscape planner. He also sits in Richmond. This is a fun fact. He interned with us before he became a full-time employee at Timmons Group. So we're happy to have you back full-time. And you're celebrating just over a year in July of 2023. So exciting stuff. Really glad to have both of you here today.
We're happy to be here.
Cool. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Pouncey Tract. This is a Parks and Rec project that is part of the Henrico County Parks and Rec, entity, I guess you could call it. But we have a really robust relationship with Henrico County. So it's a project that I know we were all really excited to be invited to participate in. The Parks project is located in Glen Allen. And have either of you guys been to the site in person yet to be out there? Yeah.
Yeah, so at various stages, kind of during the planning and design, we've made several site visits out there just to get a lay of the land and be able to integrate what we're seeing out in the field into the designs that we put together.
Absolutely. You gotta go see it in person. It's the best way to do it. Fantastic. So like I said, Glen Allen, this is 12 pickleball courts, and 10 of them are regular sized and 2 are champion sized. Is that right?
Yeah, so I guess there's been a big, as you've said, a big pickleball craze, particularly in the west end of Henrico. So this is actually phase 3 of pickleball, and this will probably, potentially be the most exciting one yet with the championship courts that are going in.
That's really cool. Sam, I know Forrest said that he had been out there. Have you been out there to see it in person yet?
I have not been out there yet. I'm excited to get out there and play, though, once we get these built.
Absolutely. Do either of you guys play pickleball?
I have played a little bit. Certainly not very good, but excited to keep getting better.
I've picked up a paddle, but I definitely have done more time studying over the requirements of putting together pickleball courts than playing myself.
That's fair. That's fair. I actually played pickleball for the very first time last July during Timmons Group Parks Week. We went to see another set of courts in Hanover County. And Sam, your your counterpart, Neil Beasley, made me get out on the court and play with him. And I got to tell you, it's a lot harder than it looks because it's like giant ping pong meets tennis. It's really unique. You really have to hit pretty hard, I think, with the paddle to make the balls do much of anything. So it's funny.
It's definitely a unique combination.
Yeah.
Definitely more accessible than tennis, though, which is appreciated for people who are coming into the sport without much of that background.
Absolutely. A little less fast paced, a little more accessible. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Very cool. I guess assuming that's why, it's part of the craze. Well, Forrest, let me ask you some questions from the civil engineering perspective of the project. I know there's a lot that's gone in on your end. You all have worked on a road extension. You've done, or I guess expansion, not extension necessarily, but you've worked in the parking lot area. There's a pavilion. There are a lot of really interesting moving parts to this project. But you told me in advance of this conversation that there was one in particular that you wanted to talk about, and that's the underground stormwater detention that you all have put together. Tell us a little.
Yeah. So similar to, I think, what a lot of land development projects are facing, there's a lot of site features that we'd like to include and a limited amount of land to be able to work with. So we're starting to see a transition from using traditional surface level stormwater management facilities, basins, ponds, etc., and seeing a transition to using underground detention to be able to maximize the amount of actual end user space that we're going to be able to have after construction. And that was what was required on this job. We had a lot of parking that needed to go in, a lot of pickleball that needed to go in. So we were able to implement an underground stormwater management facility that through the design has been awesome to work with.
Fantastic. You actually did send some photos too, so I'm going to share those on the screen, and maybe you can walk us through what exactly is happening in some of these.
Sure.
So I'm going to share this one first, and tell me if you can see my screen okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So this is Pouncey Tract 1.png. So make sure I'm sharing the right one, and then we'll go over to the second image.
Sure.
So tell us what's going on in this rendering.
Yeah, so as you can see, we're pretty much bounded in this, open space between Pouncey Tract Road, the entrance to the site,
right,
and some of the other middle school features. So we've really maximized what we're putting on this part of the park property. And we've got underground detention located in the underneath the parking lot, which is providing the storage
over here.
Oh no, I guess for the proposed parking lot there. Yep.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yep. So these are essentially 60-inch tall chambers, which are going to store the stormwater during big rain events. Mm-hmm. And we've designed outfall structures that are going to restrict the amount of water that will leave the site to mimic the natural conditions. And I've designed a few of these, and honestly, they've been a breeze to work with. And it'll be exciting to see this one get constructed.
Very cool. So it's really cool to see the plans there. I know that they look really intricate. I can't read them. I know that you all can. So it's really, really great to hear you talk about it a little bit. Let me share. I have a rendering of the project also. Well, actually, let's share. We've got one more. I said I was going to share all of the plans.
Sure. Yeah.
This is oh, no, that's the same one. See, this is why I said I needed to tell myself I was sharing Pouncey Tract 1 and Pouncey Tract 2. All right, here we go.
Yeah, okay. So this particular system is a proprietary device from ADS. Okay. And these details just give, I think, a good visual for, I guess, what's going to be happening underneath the parking lot. Stormwater is going to be collected in a traditional storm sewer and then fed into this underground detention, and will be controlled by the outfall structure. Again, with the effort of mimicking the natural conditions on the site before any development.
Right. And that's always the goal of stormwater. I think as engineers, and then you all as engineers and landscape architects, and then as myself, somebody that works in sports services in the AEC industry, we all know that stormwater is crucial, right? So like every time you see development come up, you're always wondering, well, there's a parking lot, where does all of the rainwater go? And we never want rainwater to just be flowing over top of a parking lot or flowing over top of a pickleball court. That's not the goal. The goal is for it to get back to the groundwater where it's supposed to be, so that it can be, reused by the environment the way that it was meant to. So I love that you all are thinking about that and taking it into consideration, because a pickleball court is a very flat surface and it's not permeable. So that's something that you have to think about.
Yeah, and one of the other kind of fun things is that the Pickleball Sports Association actually specifies the grades that they want on their courts, because you want them to be flat enough to be able to play on, but also still enough surface runoff to be able to wick the water during rain events and then afterwards.
Absolutely.
So that was another exciting part of the project and going through the design.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Forrest. I'm going to turn it over to Sam and see from a landscape architecture perspective. I know, again, that you all had some really unique parts of this project that you wanted to talk about. What were some of the challenges, Sam, from a landscape architecture point of view that you all ran into?
So if you want to pull up the rendering while I walk through some of these, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
As Forrest said at the beginning, we were kind of confined by the existing roadways and park features, so we were kind of trying to fit in what we could into this space. As the landscape architects on this project, we're kind of in charge of imagining the pedestrian experience as you kind of move through the park and spend time playing and watching your friends and family play as well. So we got to create some really cool features for people coming to visit at the park. You can see kind of that pavilion structure in the middle, which provides people an opportunity to get out of the sun, get together before or after you play, and kind of have a really nice experience while you spend time in the park.
Very cool. So tell me about these are bleachers and these are the 2 champion size.
That's correct.
In the middle. Okay. Were the bleachers is that part of your landscape architecture design? Like you build around those features?
So we usually specify features, some of which are a bit more standard to park projects like this. I believe Forrest actually helped me pick those out to place on this project.
Cool.
You can kind of see in the light blue and green, we've added a lot of shade structures as well, right outside of the courts and above some of those bleachers. On a site that's this open, we like to give people the opportunity to get out of the sun, especially on hot days like we've been having recently.
Absolutely. So when you mentioned the shade sails the other day, that's what you're talking about. That's cool. I like that they're fixed.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. We've got some benches outside of all those courts as well for people waiting to play next or get your shoes on or etc. So it's a nice place to kind of sit and watch and see what's going on.
Very cool. So tell me about these pedestrian walkways that are going to and from. So you've got obviously a pedestrian crossing over this. I guess this is a one-way road, right? So let's talk about those a little bit. Why?
So our kind of maintaining and enhancing some of the existing connections and creating some new connections were definitely a piece of the strategy to the design that we've ended up with. To the north of the plan there, we connect to the existing restrooms, and a bit further north are the existing pickleball courts that were part of the earlier phases. To the right there, we connect to the existing parking lot and the multi-use field that's remaining. Down south of the plan, we make a connection to the middle school that's there across the street. And then On the left there, you can kind of see that path reconnecting to the multi-use trail that runs along Pouncey Tract. And we were able to enhance the landscape along that area too, with lots of new trees to kind of make you feel a bit more comfortable as you move along that trail as well, right next to the road.
Absolutely. And it also, the trees are nice foliage for, those that are using this pathway, but they're also a nice way to like block the road from people that are enjoying the pickleball courts.
Right.
Yeah.
You get,
Kind of a
you
dual
get
purpose.
a nice dual purpose. The trees that we selected have a variety of blooming throughout the year as well, so there'll be some nice color and seasonal interest while you enjoy pickleball as well.
Very cool. So what trees did you all pick in your
Oh, put me on the spot here.
That's my job. This is a live discussion.
Well, we have a range of deciduous and evergreen trees. Now, of course, I can't actually think of any of the species off the top of my head.
That's okay. I'll tell you what, we'll have to just go see them in person. And anybody else that's listening to this right now, they'll just have to go see them in person and identify them.
I guess you're going to have to do that.
That's fantastic. Guys, this is a really cool project. And Sam, you just made a nod to, you and Forrest have actually worked on this, cross-pollinated teams throughout the process. That's fantastic.
We definitely have. And I think Timmons Group has a great opportunity to do that with the variety of groups that we have. In pretty much all aspects of the project, we've been coordinating and meeting to make sure that the park gets designed the way that best benefits the people that are going to use it.
Yeah, to add on that, I've really enjoyed the collaboration with Sam's team. It's exciting to be able to take both of our perspectives and temper one off of the other, and it's been an exciting project to do it for.
Very cool. Well, this is, again, we'll mention that this is a Henrico County Parks and Rec project, Pouncey Tract Pickleball Courts. And when is this project geared up for completion? We haven't started construction on it, yeah?
Yeah, we're in the final phases of, I guess, before going to construction. The owner is working through, I think, the final stages of awarding the construction bid. We should hear some updates soon in the coming weeks.
Very cool. Well, we'll be very excited. I know that you said that the west end of Henrico is really excited about pickleball. I think everybody's excited about pickleball, and we need more courts because every time I go to the ones near me, they are slam packed. It is, like you said, Forrest, quite a craze, and we're really excited that we can play a part in the Parks and Rec community this way. So, just a great celebration. Thank you guys both for joining me. This has been fun. What a great conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll have to do this again sometime. Yeah.
We should get out there and play soon too.
We should. Why don't we finalize this first, and then we'll go do a live video in the field.
That sounds great.
In the field on the courts. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.